Baseball, brought to you by FantasyBaseballDugout.com. Over 12 million North Americans play fantasy baseball, and they continue to play it. It's growing up there. And, guys, happy St. Patty's Day to you.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. Do you guys drink green beer down there or no?
Well, we drink beer. Try and avoid the green ones.
Right. I'm drinking some kind of beer tonight. I'm not exactly sure what color, but
yeah. Do you guys do the corned beef and cabbage routine there at all? The other guy who does, other than me, that does corned beef and cabbage, has been on the show today, is Modi Cox, and he's my NBA guy. I'm not going to say anything more about that. But it's just Modi and I. Come on, I got to find Benzes. Is that Irish?
No, that'd be German.
Oh.
Yeah, right.
We're Pennsylvania Dutch. We just, we just got away from the horse and buggy a couple years ago.
Okay, so we're back into the sausages and things like that then. Okay. Where do we want to go, guys?
Well, we wanted to talk to you today about an exciting new thing that we're offering to your listeners, and that is the Spadora on Sports Fantasy Baseball League.
Really? Oh, this is good. This is what I want to talk about. Can we do this can we start this? I got about a minute left before we got to go to commercial. I know you guys want to get more into this and how our listeners can join this fantasy baseball league. Where do we want to go with it?
Sure. We'll give you. Why don't we do the break and we'll come back and we'll give your listeners all the details of how they can join the Spadora on Sports Fantasy Baseball League and actually win prizes if they beat the experts. Because I know your listeners probably listen to us every week and they say, I know more about fantasy baseball than those two knuckleheads. And if they can put their money where their mouth isn't and beat us in fantasy baseball, they'll win a prize from us.
Definitely.
That's what Mike says every week.
Yeah, Mike is the big man. How did Mike do last year in fantasy baseball too? Before we leave,
he did better than me. He didn't do better than Bob, so he still wouldn't get a shirt.
He would have got a crummy shirt though, huh?
he still wouldn't have been eligible for a prize. So he's got to man up and beat both of us this year.
We'll get him a manly baseball sweater.
Manly baseball sweater. Yeah, we're not doing baseball sweaters this week as a sponsor. Okay, we'll be right back. You're listening to Spadora on Sports, more fantasy for sports, and we'll be sending out guys. I'm going to be tweeting while we're talking about this league.
Well, we certainly appreciate it, and if you want to connect with Fantasy Baseball Dugout on Twitter as well, our Twitter handle, it's kind of an interesting spelling, but it's Fantasy Ball Dugout, and you need to take out the A in fantasy, or the A's in fantasy. So it's FNTSY Ball Dugout. That's our Twitter handle. We're not a big enough deal for Twitter to actually let us be at Fantasy Baseball Dugout, so that's the best we can do. But before we went to the break, we wanted to talk about the Spadora on Sports Beat the Experts League, and I'm going to run down some quick details on the league. It's a 16-team fantasy baseball league. It's a head-to-head league with two divisions, so you're going to be matched up every week against an opponent. And what you're playing for an NFL-style win-loss. So every week you're going to be picking up, you're going to be playing your stats and getting your points for the stats that your team accumulates. And then at the end of the week, if you win, your team goes to 1-0 or your team goes to 0-1 if you take a loss. So teams will be able to stay competitive all season long. You're not going to get beat really bad one week and then be stuck. But it's a traditional 5x5 fantasy baseball league. So for hitters, you have runs, batting average, home runs, RBI, and stolen bases. For pitchers, you have wins, saves, whip, ERA, and strikeouts. So it's all really common categories, and we're looking for 14 people to sign up right now. Bob and I are already registered. I know we're going to be getting some guys from the Spadora on Sports staff to come along and play as well to try to beat us because Schenk couldn't do it. Schenk could only beat one of us last year. He couldn't beat both of us. So, that's the details on the league. And then, certainly I think the really exciting thing everybody wants to talk about is the prizes, and I'm going to leave that to Bob.
Yeah, well, what you get is a nifty T-shirt with the Fantasy Baseball Dugout logo on the front, and on the back it'll say, I beat the experts. So you have to beat both Jonathan and I in the league. Go to fantasybaseballdugout.com. You're going to need a 6-digit code for the league number. It's a Yahoo-sponsored league. And if you go to fantasybaseballdugout.com, you'll see the Spadora on Sports Fantasy Baseball League listed there. You'll need the league number and the password, and that'll get you in our league. And if we get too many, we'll just keep adding leagues.
Oh, that'd be great. No, that'd be great, definitely. And, of course, interesting note, is Anastasia Lupova going to be part of that league?
No, but if you go to fantasybaseballdugout.com, you can see a picture of this billiards player. She's probably the first billiards player we've ever had on the Fantasy Baseball site. But if you go there and visit, you'll see why we put her on.
And I will tell you that I will definitely applaud you for this excellent job on this.
I'm sure.
Reaching out to the billiard sports profession.
Definitely. Go to SpadoraOnSports.com. You can hit on to Fantasy Baseball and get right into the site. Okay, guys, where do we want to go to right now? We got a lot of we got very little time left. I'm being told by the producer we got about 2 minutes.
Well, I think, certainly we're hitting the home stretch here for fantasy baseball draft time, and one of you're constantly evaluating your cheat sheets and moving players up and down. One tip that I want to give everybody this week is to look at the birth date of certain players. On FantasyBaseballDugout.com right now, we actually have a list of the top 27 players turning 27 in 2000. They were born in the year 1985, and why that's important is because a lot of players, if you look at sabermetrics, a lot of players hit the top end of the bell curve of their statistical production at right around the age of 26. So at 26, 27, they're coming into their prime. So if you can pick them up especially in leagues where you get to keep players year over year, 27-year-olds are the guys who are most likely to break out. And when you look at the top of our list, Evan Longoria is the number one player turning 27 throughout the baseball season. And I think a couple weeks ago, Bob had talked about a stat called BABIP, which kind of helps you figure out who was a lucky player and who was an unlucky player in the previous season. And Evan Longoria, I believe, was at the top of his list of the unluckiest players statistically. So Evan Longoria was down a little bit last year. You can probably get him in the second round of your draft if you're lucky. And he's turning 27, and he was unlucky last year. So it's another feather in the cap for Evan Longoria to be one of the biggest or highest return on investment players early on in your draft. So if you can get him at third base, he's our top player turning 27 in 2012. A couple other guys who are really high on that list. David Price is his teammate there on the Tampa Bay Rays. Adam Jones of the Baltimore Orioles was also on that list. And Carlos Gonzalez, the outfielder for the Colorado Rockies. So those are our top four. And then you have obviously 23 other players on that list to evaluate and figure out how they fit into your cheat sheets for 2012.
Fantastic. Hey, guys, I hate to do it to you, but we're out of time. Of course, you can check out my website, SpadoraOnSports.com. FantasyBaseball.com is also located right there, or you can tweet me at Spadora Sports. Guys, all the best, and let me know how you make out with the Spadora on Sports Fantasy Baseball League.
You got it.
Thank you. Hope to have a lot of your listeners trying to beat us this year because we don't think they can do it.
Gotcha. Okay, the gauntlet is job. You're listening to Spadora on Sports. We'll be right back.